The tanker crawled slowly across the prairie on its long chain tracks of steel plates. The sheer size of the vehicle's body, 150 meters long and 20 meters in diameter, had awed Jeffries the first time he had seen it, and he had wondered how the behemoth was able to move at all, particularly once it was full. But he had never bothered to ask anyone to explain it to him. He was no engineer versed in the underlying principles, just as he was no economist able to determine the precise amount of resources that could be reclaimed on what exact schedule to maintain stable world markets. He was no politician responsible for deciding who had access to the reclaimed resources, and no theoretical physicist with the capacity to devise a means of transisting from one parallel quantum universe to another. He wasn't honestly sure if he even had the words parallel quantum universe in the right order. He was just a roughneck, glad to have a job at a time when so many others did not, grateful for the hazard pay, whether or not he fully understood the dangers. "Do you ever feel bad about it?" Jeffries asked aloud. "Huh?" Marietta grunted. "This job," Jeffries said. "I mean, it's basically grave robbing, isn't it?" Marietta shrugged. "We need the fuel." "That doesn't make it not grave robbing." "You rather have it the other way?" Marietta challenged him. "Rationing, then riots, martial law?" "No," Jeffries said diffidently. He was thinking of another lesson from his school days, this time a fable about grasshoppers and ants. Random bits of the formal education of his early years kept leaping to mind, but that was hardly surprising. The lead story in the news that week had been that the country had officially declined below 50% capacity at schools nationwide. No school could keep the lights and air conditioning on 5 days a week, and some couldn't manage it at all. One more reason on the pile of justifications for reclamation runs in the first place. "But doesn't it feel like taking advantage of someone else's work instead of doing our own?" Marietta actually turned to look at Jeffries. "You think this isn't hard work?" No, of course it is." Jeffries shook his head. "But my point is we got ourselves into our own situation, and now we're solving it by stealing—" "I know you're not calling me a thief," Marietta said warningly. "I know you're not." Jeffries' mouth snapped shut. "Grave robbing. What does that even mean? You can't steal from a dead person. They don't own anything.